Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are setting up for a very special joint birthday celebration for two siblings. So Ala Moana is turning 5 and her baby brother Willie is also celebrating his first birthday. And as usual, whilst you guys watch the setup come together, I'll also be sharing a few tips for those of you who may be thinking about either starting an event decor business or perhaps just doing balloon decoration as a side hustle to earn a little bit more extra income. As you can see, we are using this round stitch themed character backdrop as the main feature of the setup. And one thing I really like about these backdrop covers is that they actually come with an elastic around the edge, which makes it a very easy thing to use because they do tend to stretch over the frame and it holds its shape properly. Now, before we go too far into today's setup, I just wanted to share something really special. We actually had a very big privilege of decorating Ala Moana's first birthday back in 2021. Yes, because she turned 5 this year. It's actually amazing how quickly time flies because now she's already turning 5, and it's always such a pleasure when we get returning customers. To me, it's obviously a big sign that we've built these strong relationships and trust with our clients. To me, this job is not just about just putting balloons together. No, it's also about creating those good experiences and building connections with families, with people from different cultures, different nationalities. We genuinely value these relationships and we always want to maintain them for years to come. Maybe one day I'll be back here celebrating Moana's wedding. Anyways, let's move back to today's setup. Here is my first tip for today. You need to know your backdrop placement. And sometimes what actually looks perfect on paper, it doesn't necessarily work when you actually get to the venue. Even when a client gives suggestions, or whether you've sketched something out beforehand or you've used another app to do your before work, you still need to assess the actual space. It's far better to actually spend extra time figuring out where your backdrops should go other than just rushing the process and then you probably regret it later. So once the balloons start going up, just moving everything around becomes just a big hassle and it can actually be more time consuming and very difficult. So for this particular setup, I actually spend a bit of time standing back, moving things back and forth and looking at the space from different angles and just trying to figure out exactly where I felt the backdrops would work best. So it kind of like took a bit longer than expected, but in the end, I was really happy with the final positioning. And another tip from me, guys, is you need to learn to adjust and be very adaptable. So one thing you'll quickly learn in this industry is that things don't always go according to plan. So you might arrive at the venue thinking, well, this setup will probably take me 1 hour maximum or maybe 30 minutes, and only to discover an unexpected challenge that can actually change everything and just change your timeline. For this particular event, I knew in advance and I was told before that we only had 1 hour before guests started arriving. So knowing the amount of work involved, I would have loved maybe an extra 30 to 45 minutes or so just to tidy up things and not to feel a little bit under the pump. That would obviously have made things a lot more comfortable, but sometimes you have to work with the client's schedule and just make things happen. Yeah, so being adaptable is very important skill in this industry. So because this was a joint birthday, the client was very flexible regarding the design. Her main request was that light blue should just remain the dominant color throughout the setup. So she wanted all the backdrops to be blue. So I just made sure that the paint I used for the backdrop panels matched the same shade of blue that featured in that backdrop, the one with stitch. So we also selected the balloons that kind of complemented those colors. And believe it or not, guys, I actually forgot my step ladder. So normally that's not something that you want to forget. Unfortunately, we just didn't have enough time to drive back home and get it because our schedule was really, really tight. So we just had to improvise and make things work with what we had available. Again, that's another example of adapting in situations as they arise. And now we're getting to one of the finishing touches. I also had these extra large balloons. I honestly can't remember the actual size, maybe 28 inches. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So I just wanted to incorporate them into the design. But however, I don't know, one of the balloons really looked quite odd. You may notice that the balloon, the one that I placed towards the bottom corner, had a slightly white appearance compared to the others. So what happened there was that we double stuffed a blue balloon inside a white one. So unfortunately, we didn't inflate it enough before tying it off. By the time I realized the blue shade wasn't showing properly, I had already tied the balloon and I couldn't untie it. So once you've tied the balloon, there isn't a much easier way of fixing it without starting over. So instead, what I just did was just to push it at the back so that it doesn't draw too much attention. And now we're getting close to finishing the setup. And my final tip for today is you do need to know the event season in your area. So now birthdays happen all year round. I'm sure we all know, and there's no specific season for birthdays. But when it comes to events like weddings, graduations, or Christmas parties, school prize giving days, or things along those lines, those are definitely busy seasons. So here in New Zealand, our weddings tend to be peak during summer months, particularly around December or at the beginning of the year. So we're actually already in June and people are already starting to secure their bookings for upcoming wedding seasons. So one mistake that other people do is they just wait until the busy periods arrive and then you start looking and promoting yourselves. Obviously, customers don't always come looking for you. Sometimes you do need to actively market your services. So use social media platforms, use people, network with people, attend community events, post your work. Don't wait until December and hope that bookings will magically appear. Start preparing ahead of time, build your own portfolio, and just improve your skills and get all the equipment ready. Because if your business isn't prepared when the busy season arrives, you may miss on opportunities. Anyway, guys, this was the final result. I could immediately see how happy the family was. And one thing I always love about Ala Moana's mom is that she truly, truly goes an extra mile for her kids. If you look back at Ala Moana's first birthday, I'm sure you'll see the same level of planning, the love poured out, the effort, the coordination. She always puts a lot of thoughts into creating these special memories for her kids. And now Ala Moana is old enough to actually remember all these moments, that what makes it even more meaningful. It's always good to invest in creating memories for our children because years from now, they'll be able to look back at photos and videos like these and remember the love, the effort, the celebration that surrounded them. Anyway, guys, if you've enjoyed today's video, please do us a big favor by subscribing to our channel, please. We're actually trying to grow and we would love to have you along on our journey as we show more event setups, more event styling, and more tips and lessons that we've actually learned along the way. Thank you so much for watching, guys. God bless you all, and we'll catch you up in the next video.